Remember the golden age of the 90s? When theaters echoed with laughter, and one man with a rubbery face and wild energy made the whole world forget its pain. That man was Jim Carrey, the king of comedy, the man behind the mask. But behind that contagious laughter was a lonely, broken soul. This is the untold story of the man who made us laugh while silently fighting his own tears. Jim Carrey was born on January 17, 1962, in a small Canadian town called Newmarket, Ontario. His childhood was anything but easy. His mother, Kathleen, battled chronic illness, and his father, Percy, once a saxophonist, had to work as an accountant just to keep food on the table. To escape family struggles, little Jim would lock himself in his room and make funny faces in front of a mirror, trying to make himself laugh. And slowly, he realized he had the power to make others laugh too. His first audience? His parents. He just wanted to make his sick mother smile, even for a few seconds. But life wasn't kind. When Jim turned 12, his father lost his job. The family's world collapsed. They lost their home and lived for months in a tiny van, sometimes even camping in a tent near Lake Ontario. Jim and his brother cleaned floors and toilets in a tire factory to survive. The boy who dreamed of comedy was now sweeping factory floors. Yet his father never let him give up. At 15, Percy pushed him to try a comedy club in Toronto, and Jim bombed hard. The audience booed him off the stage, but instead of quitting, he promised himself he'd be back. By 19, Jim was performing in Toronto's comedy clubs, and finally, someone noticed. Legendary comedian Rodney Dangerfield took him on tour as an opener. Soon, Jim moved to Hollywood, the city of dreams and heartbreaks. He auditioned for The Tonight Show, but got rejected. His first sitcom got canceled. He was broke, hopeless, yet he didn't stop dreaming. One night in 1990, Jim wrote himself a fake check for $10 million for acting services rendered, folded it, and kept it in his wallet. He believed one day that dream would come true. That dream exploded in 1994. Ace Ventura: Pet Detective turned him into a superstar overnight. Critics called it silly. Audiences called it genius. Then came The Mask, a $23 million movie that earned over $350 million and cemented Jim as the superhero of comedy. And before the year ended, Dumb and Dumber hit theaters, another box office smash. 3 blockbusters in a single year, something Hollywood had never seen before. The $10 million check in his wallet? It was now real. But behind that success was pain. Jim's personal life was falling apart. Divorces, broken engagements, failed relationships. He suffered from deep depression, relying on antidepressants just to get through the day. In 2015, tragedy struck when his ex-girlfriend, Katrina White, died by suicide. The guilt, the lawsuits, the headlines, they shattered him. The man who made the world laugh was now silent. Jim withdrew from the spotlight. He stopped doing interviews, avoided red carpets, and spent his days painting in his art studio. In his short film, I Needed Color, he said, "Colors and brushes started healing me when nothing else could." He had found peace in art, not fame. Hollywood had become too corporate, too fake for him. At the 2017 Fashion Week, he famously told a reporter, "None of this is real. We don't matter." People laughed, but this time he wasn't joking. Then came Sonic the Hedgehog in 2020, Jim's comeback as the over-the-top villain Dr. Robotnik. It was vintage Jim Carrey, wild, energetic, hilarious. The movie became a pandemic-era hit, earning nearly $400 million worldwide. But soon after, Jim announced his retirement in 2022, saying, "I'm fairly serious about retiring. Unless a script written in gold ink comes my way, I'm done." From living in a van to becoming Hollywood's highest-paid comedian, Jim Carrey's story isn't just about laughter. It's about resilience, heartbreak, and the courage to keep going. He showed us that sometimes the people who make the world smile are the ones who need saving the most. Thank you, Jim Carrey, for giving our childhoods laughter, our hearts hope, and our lives color. And that was the unbelievable journey of Jim Carrey, the man who made the world laugh while quietly fighting his own battles. If this story touched your heart, take a second to hit that like button. Tell me in the comments, what's your favorite Jim Carrey moment? Was it The Mask, Bruce Almighty, or Sonic? I'd love to read your memories. And if you love hearing inspiring stories of icons who changed the world, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because we uncover the real stories behind the biggest names in Hollywood.